Hello friends, I am Michael Kingswood. I write fiction for fun and profit, and this is Story Time, where we read stories of mine that I've written so that you can enjoy them, have some fun, and come back and get some more. And maybe buy some books. It being Tuesday, we are going through my heroic fantasy novel Glimmer, the first of my Glimmer Chronicles series, which currently stands at 7 books and a number of short stories, and book 8 will be along here within the next several months, I think. Right now, we're focused on getting that out to people. It's releasing on June 30th and going out to Kickstarter backers here shortly. And we're going to run an Indiegogo campaign starting in just a few days to help launch it. But once we get that fully squared away, we'll be pushing on with other projects, among them the next Glimmer book. So it's nice that we're reading this one for you now. Anyway, this is chapter 24, and it's called The Signal. I wrote it. I'm not reading it. We have a pretty decent voice actor do it for us this time, and you're going to like it, so sit back and relax. Have fun. I'll talk to you on the other end.
Chapter 24. The Signal. A column of smoke rising from the south. That's what he was watching for, and there it was. Hiram knew it would be coming, but dreaded it. They had trained for nearly 2 weeks straight, and though he felt comfortable with his own marksmanship, he was far less confident in that of some of his fellows. As for the sword, he just hoped it wouldn't come down to that. He sat on a rooftop near the edge of town. The mayor, at Radric and Julian's behest, had convinced the house's owners and the owners of the house across Main Street from his perch to erect a platform up there to facilitate keeping watch, and to aid in the defense of the town if it came to it. Which it looked like it was about to. Fortunately for Hiram, the plan called for as many archers as possible to man the rooftop platforms, then pull up the ladders behind them. He should be relatively safe from having to use his sword up there. Hopefully. Hiram picked up the horn resting on the platform next to his water barrel and lifted it to his lips. Blowing into it, he blanched when all that came out was a little squeak. He hated the damn things. Wetting his lips, he took a deep breath and tried again. The horn's call rang out strong and true. Down on the street below, every eye turned toward his position. The people stood motionless for a long moment. Hiram could practically see the thoughts churning in everyone's head. Is it for real? Is this another drill? Then a second horn sounded, from the platform across the street. The people on the street scattered, running as quickly as they could to the boats or to designated mustering points. It was pandemonium for a few minutes. Then the streets became eerily silent. Empty. That would change. Hiram looked back to the south and his heart sank. The smoke column stopped abruptly. The smoke that was already in the air continued to rise, but no more rose to follow it. It was almost as if someone had taken a blanket and smothered the fire in an instant. He was not sure how that could be done, but he preferred not to think about it. He just hoped the sentries at the east flow had managed to get away after lighting the signal. He was not intimate with the 2 men on duty this day. They were from different boats than he. But he had gotten to know them a bit over the last couple weeks. They were good men, and it would be a shame to lose them. A group came running from the center of town toward Hiram's position. He recognized Radric and Julian at the head of the group. Salam was close behind, along with half a dozen of his fellow fishing men, bows in hand. Strangely, that Clemens woman was with the group as well. Now that was a good-looking woman. A bit uppity for Hiram's taste, but good-looking regardless. Why was she there? A fight was no place for a lady like her, whether she was close with Radric and Julian or not. Hiram was not sure what to make of those two. He and the others who had been with him to confront Farzel in front of the town hall had heard the revelation about their background. They had not discussed it much, but Gilroy and Rolfe did not care either way, and Salam... Well, those two seemed to go up in Salam's estimation after that. But then he had always been a strange fellow. But Hiram's father had raised him to value honor and to always do his duty. The thought of a man running out on his oaths by deserting the army revolted him. And yet, Radric and Julian were stand-up guys. They did not have to stay here to help with the town's problems. Yet, here they were, putting their butts on the line. It was hard not to respect that. The group came to a halt on the street below Hiram's post, and Radric shouted up to him. "Hiram, what do you see?"
"Smoke from the south, but it stopped all of a sudden."
Radric nodded with a frown and turned to the group. Speaking quickly, he issued orders that Hiram could not make out. Not that he needed to, since they all knew the drill. 4 of the bowmen split off from the group. 2 headed to Hiram's platform, and 2 to the one across the street. Meanwhile, Julian, Salam, and the other two bowmen jogged to the end of Main Street, where the workers had erected a makeshift barricade. To one side, an empty cart stood ready. The four men pushed it into the narrow opening in the barricade, then, working together, tipped the cart up onto its side, effectively blocking the passage. Hiram's two additional bowmen reached the top of his platform. Hiram turned to greet them and was surprised to see that Mistress Clemens had climbed up as well.
My lady, what are you
doing? She finished for him.
Nothing you would understand. Get back to keeping lookout and don't worry yourself about things that don't concern you.
Well, she did not need to be rude about it. Feeling more than a little affronted, Hiram was tempted to snipe back. Unfortunately, she was right. He had more important things to do than get into an argument with her. Instead, he re-verified the storage bins were full of arrows and then looked out to the southeast, where Farzal's men would most likely come from. There was not much to see, though, and it was hard to maintain concentration with her chanting behind him. What was she doing? At one point, she even sprinkled him with dust of some sort, him and the other two men with him. And then the platform, too. He opened his mouth to protest, but the expression on her face made him bite his tongue. Mistress Clemens finally stopped her chanting and climbed down the ladder.
Thank the gods,
Hiram breathed. That chanting was driving him crazy. Then he realized there was a bit of commotion in the street and the other platform. Men in both places were talking excitedly to each other, some of them with expressions of shock or fear, and they were pointing at him and his platform.
What are they going on about?
He asked, receiving shrugs from the two men with him. Then Mistress Clemens mounted the other platform and performed her chant there as well, and he got his answer. No sooner did she stop chanting than the platform, and all the men on it, disappeared. His jaw dropped. Impossible. Rubbing his eyes did not help. They were gone. Except he could still hear them. What the... It came to him, and he looked down at Mistress Clemens in amazement. She was a mage. That was the only explanation for it.
Nah, women can't be mages,
said one of his companions on the platform, as though responding to Hiram's thoughts.
Apparently this one can,
Hiram replied. He realized he was grinning, and the anxiety he had felt just moments ago was significantly lessened. With a mage on their side, they might just make it through this with their skins intact. Raedric nodded approval as the second archery platform vanished from sight, or whatever it was that Melanie's spell did to make it appear to vanish. That trick of hers never gets old, does it? He quipped. Julian grinned in response. Yeah, she's right nice to have around. Raedric almost choked at that. Really, Julian must really be smitten. Raedric did not think he would ever use the word nice to describe Melanie, however good to look at she might be. Although truth to tell, he preferred Lonnie in that way too. Funny how that worked out. He had not thought about the fact that she would still be here when he decided to take the route through Glimmervale. He had only thought to get a good rate on a room for the night from Molly. And now he could not bear the thought of leaving Lonnie when this was all over. But that was a thought for another time. Raedric spent the next several minutes looking over the barricade carefully. He was far from satisfied. It was ramshackle, obviously put together in a hurry, but that was to be expected. The best he could hope for was that it would delay Eisenhoff's men long enough for the archers to drive them off. If not... I hope she has something with a little more firepower up her sleeve, he said as he turned back to face Julian. And found himself facing Melanie as well. That was fast.
I have a few other tricks, Raedric, fear not.
He nodded. Fair enough. Hold off until I give the word, if you can. I'd like to keep you as a surprise for as long as possible. She frowned, but nodded.
It will likely not be long. Once the archers begin to fire, their mage will put two and two together and take steps to find and counter them.
Raedric did not want to think about what would happen when that started. Can you handle him? Melanie looked at him like he was daft.
Do you have some information that I do not, Raedric?
No. What?
Then you have just as much an idea how to answer that question as I do.
Ah. He had no idea, and apparently she did not either. Wonderful.
Riders approaching!
The shout came from above. It sounded like Hiram. Raedric looked up and nodded, then did a double take as he was able to see Hiram's platform clearly. For a moment, anxiety welled up, far more than the normal pre-battle jitters Raedric always felt. But then he moved his eyes slightly, and Hiram's platform faded from view again. It must be what Melanie said the first time. He knew it was there, so he could see it, if he worked at it or surprised himself. Time to roll the dice. Raedric looked over his shoulder at Salam and nodded. The swarthy swordsman had a way with words sometimes. Then he stepped up onto the small walkway that was constructed on the back of the barricade and looked out at the oncoming riders. It was time to roll the dice indeed.
Okay, looks like we're getting into it here. We've been into it, but now we're really into it. There's getting towards the last few chapters of the book, and I'm not sure if you can figure it out or not, but the big battle's coming. We're going to have a showdown. Life is good. And you can come back next week at the same time to see what happens. You can also read the book over on my Substack page, or just go buy the book. The best place is from my website, MikeKingswood.com/store. You can also go to all the various retailers you want to get all the books from them. I get less money that way, but some people like going to Amazon or Apple or what have you, and that's fine. MikeKingswood.com/books to read the number 2 will get you to a place where you can click on whichever link you want to whichever retailer you want, and you're good. Everybody will have fun, and it'll be great. Anyway, before we sign off, I just wanted to pimp the campaign that I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this. We're running another campaign for Warfare Qualified. We kickstarted it last year, and we're getting now that got the paperback proof copy for Warfare in the other day. The hardcover proof should be here any day now, and then we'll get everything off to the Kickstarter backers. But since we are launching the book to the public in just over a month, I wanted to do a little razzle dazzle, get a little more attention on it. So we're going to run an Indiegogo campaign, and I plan to start it on Thursday. We're going to do a live stream here to kick things off, and it should be fun. So I encourage you to check that out. And I made a little promo video to entice you. Check it out, and maybe we'll see you Thursday for the kickoff. Otherwise, come back here on Saturday. We'll do Story Saturday, where we do shorter work of mine that I like, and then you'll like too. And next week we'll continue on with Glimmer, and we'll do other things throughout the week as the fancy catches me. All right, well, sit back, enjoy this little promo thing, and I'll talk to you next time. Till then, don't do anything I wouldn't do.